Google is searching for more revenue by making your kids customers. More on that in just a minute. But first up in tonight's Biz Blitz, Home Depot blowing away estimates, reporting a 6% jump in same-store sales from a year ago. This a day after home builder confidence hit a 7-month high. So did Home Depot just give homeowners a reason to be confident? And all of us, Mark, do you feel more confident?
No, not yet. Not yet. I think the market has this angst, and it's looking for any little sign of forward movement. So they're going to take a look at the earnings report from a Home Depot and say, okay, we're back in business, and we're not yet. This is good news for Home Depot. 6% increase. They've had a 20% rise in their profits year over year. Really good numbers, but it shows really good management on the part of Home Depot.
Okay, but Jared, isn't there also a little bit of a bellwether thing going on here? That is, what is good for Home Depot is good for the nation.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the housing market is good. It's stable. I'm not worried about it right now. I'm worried about the future of it with rates. I just want to clarify that. By the way, Home Depot, yeah, I think this is good news, but it also plays into the fact that, you know what? Home prices are back up. Rent rates are at an all-time high. So people are saying, you know what? I'm going to fix up my house. I'm going to fix up my rental property. I'm going to get, high prices, from a record perspective. And that's the way they're playing it. But yeah, it was good management on the part of Home Depot. I think it's a coincident indicator that housing right now is okay. It doesn't foretell the future by any stretch, at least not more than a year.
Hadley, when was the last time you were in Home Depot?
Oh, it's been a while. Although a lot of my friends got married this summer and they registered at Home Depot, so they're ready to be homeowners. Just, it's difficult to get into that market.
I don't know if that's good for the brides. It's great for the grooms.
Getting married is good for home ownership, absolutely. But I think part of the earnings report from Home Depot is seasonal. We had a harsh winter. People like to do home improvement in the summer. Now is a warm time of year. People are trying to improve their home or their rental property. But the housing market is a different animal. I would be too cautious to say that this is a good sign.
David, I was there Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
In Home Depot.
Was it full?
It was after 6 p.m. and it was active.
It was
a lot of people in there on a Sunday evening.
I just love the help you can get. They're always there to help me out with any of my dumb questions. I ask a lot of dumb questions at Home Depot. On to issue number 2. 10 years after Google went public, should you worry for your kids' privacy? Google, the latest tech company trying to expand its services to children. Now, Facebook took a lot of heat for just thinking about letting kids sign up earlier this year. So should Google expect the same? Hadley, I would think so. What do you think?
I think Google or no Google, parents always have to be vigilant about their children's online privacy. Google, like any other business, is going to target as many customers as possible. Now they're trying to expand their audience to younger people. I think it could be a good middle ground if there is parental consent required, if there are parental controls that parents can put on their children's membership. But no, absolutely. I think regardless of where your child is visiting on the internet, you have to be, the buck stops with mom and dad.
Right. And Jared, that's the point. There are all these forms that people just click at the bottom, whether they're a 12-year-old person or a 30-year-old person. I don't think that's going to make a difference to you.
No, not at all. But I do think, David, this is actually a good thing for Google, because remember, they control a whole ecosystem and an operating system. And if they can convince parents, hey, your child is going to have a safe experience, it's going to be able to go to a YouTube that's safe for kids, it's going to have a browsing experience that's safe for kids, and we're going to keep our ads to a minimum, I think it can be done right. But again, there's a lot of small things Google has to do.
Mark, it's going to be tough. I have 2 kids, one of whom wasn't really old enough to be in the Facebook thing. The other one is and was, and she tried to get out of it at one point and pretty much couldn't do it. I mean, she eventually just stopped communicating with it. But it's not even easy to disassociate yourself from it once you're in it.
Google has a very big challenge here, and all the internet companies do. And I've got 4 kids. The oldest is 22. The youngest is 11. It's a lot different raising an 11-year-old today versus 11-year-old 11 years ago, okay? And so Google's got a big challenge on their hands. But you know what? Market forces, they want to continue their 20% annual earnings growth. And so in order to do that long term, they've got to tap into new markets.
Do you let your 11-year-old have a Facebook account?
No. Absolutely.
Okay. What would be the age cutoff for you? At what age would you allow them to have?
What's funny is it was 16, but with new Instagram and new apps, it keeps sliding down. So probably 14, 15, 16
Hadley,
years
how
old.
about you? Would you put an age limit on one of your kids having a Facebook account?
I would, absolutely. My parents were very strict with me growing up. The big thing when I was a teenager was AOL Instant Messenger. My parents were concerned not just for my privacy, but also for the use of my time. Kids should be also playing off of computers, playing outside, enjoying communicating with people face to face, not just on the internet.
Doing things.
But the apps are ubiquitous now. The apps are ubiquitous. It's very difficult parenting today and being able to limit their access.
Well, Jared, I remember when telephones came into being, and my parents, no, I don't remember that. You were actually going along with it. Nobody protested.
You and Marconi were hanging out.
All right, we better move on. I'm embarrassing myself here. Issue number 3, Atlantic City closing 3 casinos. And New Jersey's answer is another casino. Plans being unveiled today for a new Las Vegas-style casino in the New York, New Jersey area. Jared, are casino owners defying the markets? I would think 3 strikes and you're out.
No, this is totally different. And I remember when casinos came around. In fact, my family had a small property in Atlantic City, 1976. By the way, when it was legalized in AC, the only other place you can go was Nevada. Now, today, we've got many states, many cities that offer gambling. The New York metropolitan area was a big business center for Atlantic City. But now that they can put a casino up in North Jersey, it makes all the sense in the world. You got 9 million people across the way. I think it's brilliant. And I think Atlantic
Hadley,
City's
the
going to have
elephant
a
in the
tough
room that
time.
we haven't even mentioned yet is online gambling. I mean, you didn't have with online gambling, you don't have to leave your house or your hotel room. You can check in a nice hotel room in Manhattan and gamble.
That's right. Hopefully the builders of this new casino in the New York City area have some smart analysts on the case trying to figure out if the demand for gambling has changed or if it's really just a commuting problem, that if they can get closer to the city, maybe that will increase demand for the casinos they have to offer. They're going to have shopping centers and hotels next door. So, maybe it is a location thing, but I think online gambling definitely presents a challenge in terms of competition.
This is completely about market competition. New Jersey, at this point, better build casinos in the Meadowlands and Jersey City, or else they're going to be left out. Revenues to Atlantic City have dropped by 50% since 2006.
But Mark, do they want to be building more casinos when you're having these white elephants go out of business in Atlantic City?
If you build it, they will come. They have to. They have no
but
choice.
They haven't in Atlantic City. But they built a $2 billion white elephant that's sitting there right now.
Right, and they're going to have to
and
write that off because that's 3 hours
York.
away. Exactly, Jared. That's 3 hours away. They need to be near the casinos in Yonkers and the Poconos and elsewhere, or else they're going to be left out. They're going to lose more revenues. New Jersey has got to build casinos in the New York metropolitan area.
But Hadley, I have to say, I just don't see it. One, I think if we are going to see the ubiquitous casino, every community in America allowing gambling to go on, we're going to see one right in Manhattan. You won't have to even go to the Meadowlands. You'll just have one here. It's going to be easy to convert. And then the more you have something, the less each one is worth. So I think eventually, if they're completely legal, maybe people are going to lose an appetite for gambling. Am I wrong?
Well, I sort of hope so. I understand it's a form of entertainment for some folks, but again, I think go outside, find some other use of your time, more productive use of your time. But, when you deregulate any market and you take restrictions off of where a market can operate, you're going to see more competition, and that lowers prices and gives consumers more options. But in the future, I just don't see how the online competition with brick and mortar, it's across industries.
Jared, what about the old idea that when you make it legal, some of the thrill is gone? I don't buy that, by the way, with marijuana and heroin and the other drugs. But I do with regard to gambling. There's something, when it's slightly illegal, it makes it a little more exciting. You take away that excitement and it's less fun.
You're right. There is an element to that. Remember, David, back in the day, Las Vegas was a completely different place. 30 years ago, it was where the mob hung out. It was where kids didn't go. Las Vegas became Disneyland, and I think that's where Atlantic City failed. They didn't become Disneyland. They kept themselves a hardcore gambling town stuck in the middle of a not-so-great area. But anyway, David, I do agree it takes some of that sexiness away. Yeah. But people still want to gamble.
Gotta leave it at
and
that,
you know what?
gang.
In the New York area,
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Meanwhile,